Hello, my name is Carol May Whittick, spiritual life coach, and welcome to Higher Energetic Resonance Inspirations. And also welcome to 2024. What do you have on your mind for 2024? I want to start this year by starting off with another series, and this series is going to be all about emotions. I'm calling it Emotions Deeper Knowing, and I'm beginning by having an overview of the series. So this episode is just talking about emotions in general, and then over the forthcoming weeks we'll actually start to examine the more challenging emotions. So for example, guilt, shame, fear, grief, apathy, and talking about the gift. And I mean the gift that they offer us if we're able to take on the opportunity to sit with those emotions when they arrive in our lives. And I was inspired to do so because on Christmas Day I went live on Instagram, and I felt called to do so because leading up to Christmas I'd had a number of conversations with people about the challenges that Christmas brought up for them, because for many people, and myself included, Christmas does not look like the Hallmark Hollywood version of Christmas. Just in having so many conversations with people who were either going back to family and just kind of doing it out of duty, but knowing that they were going to go into a situation that was uncomfortable, but it was just something that needed to be done to keep the peace, as it were, to even people who were recently bereaved. So this was going to be the first Christmas that they were spending in a different configuration of family, because, you know, a major player, a major person within the family was not going to be there, was not going to be physical for the first time, and it was going to be an adjustment for them. And then also to people who, for Christmas is just a time to be in solitude or in a smaller group and just kind of riding it through. In the UK, what happens usually at 3 p.m. on Christmas Day, there will be a message from the reigning monarch. These are broadcast live, but I do believe that they're pre-recorded. So everyone kind of tunes into the Queen's speech. So I decided to ordain myself as the Queen and offer my version of a Christmas message, but a real Christmas, and talking about how to deal with the rough emotions throughout Christmas. That live, it didn't go viral because most people were not on Instagram at that point in time. But for the people who caught it, I got a few messages back about how it really resonated with them because of what they were going through. And most people messaged me in private as well, because emotions and talking about emotions in Christmas is not the thing. We're meant to be happy and bright and all of this kind of stuff. And for some people, it's not that. Not only do you have the double edge of dealing with those emotions at that time, but in comparison to what everyone else is going through, it really then highlights what your situation is, because it's so polar to everyone else. It just made me realize that the conversation around emotions could benefit from being deeper. Is it almost as if we need a permission or guidance to experience our emotions? Why is it that we run so far away from what we're feeling? This is what I'm going to do over the forthcoming weeks, is talk about emotions, talk about the deeper experience of emotions and what that feels like and what that means to us. And also I encourage you to join the mailing list for the accompanying email as well. Check the link in the show notes for that. To start with a quote from Shannon L. Alder: "Feelings are something you have, not something you are." Now, if we are on the path to purposeful living, spiritual growth, personal growth, examining and allowing our emotions to come into our life is something that we need to do. We can't just run away from our emotions. We don't need to. The feelings don't come up for us to push them away or avoid them. The idea of having these emotions is that we're given an opportunity to explore something about ourselves. And exploring those emotions opens up so much more about who we are to ourselves. We get to have a greater understanding of what we're capable of feeling, and whether it's something that feels comfortable or whether it's something that feels challenging. We are opening up into edges that we may never have explored or have the opportunity to explore, having not been presented with an emotion to present that opportunity to us. To have emotions is to be human. If you are managing to get through life without ever feeling happy or sad or despondent or elated, grief or ecstasy, then what is it that you're feeling? If you're keeping yourself numb, if you're not touching the sides, as it were, what is the experience? How are you growing? What are you keeping yourself safe from? Our emotions are going to serve as signals to where we need to look, what we need to feel, guiding us to areas that we need to open up to, where we need to be more honest with ourselves. Emotions, as I said, it's part of being human. Like even those ones that we consider to be unpleasant, they have a purpose. They show us all of the colours of who we are, the nuances, the things that we're able to feel, the depths of despair, the rage of anger, the energy of excitement. Without any of those, what are we doing? It's like we're rolling through life without a pulse. It's valuable for us to then decide to become aware of our emotions, especially if our emotions are something that come and almost overwhelm us at moments that we then feel that we don't have any agency over. If we know how we're going to feel in a situation, if we know how a situation can trigger us, if we realize that sometimes we're making decisions based solely on the back of our emotions, we can get a fuller appreciation of the way that we operate and the way that we respond to the world and the way that we become reactive and maybe guided down various avenues to make decisions, to hold judgments based on our emotions. So starting to feel what our emotions are and what brings them up within us then allows us to calibrate ourselves to ourselves. We don't want to be numb. We want to know what our gauge is, how we're feeling, what brings up what we're feeling. And then we can develop a relationship with our emotions to understand that when we're feeling a certain way, what is it trying to signal to us? Is there a part of us that needs more exploration? Are our emotions in response or reaction to something? Is that a good or bad thing? And even to say something is bad is not to ignore it, is just to see how we can just fine tune what it is that we're feeling. Notice what our emotions are trying to tell us about where we are. So much of modern life is to be frightened of our emotions, is to fear those feelings that so many people are feeling so much anxiety about the world, and all they're thinking is, I feel anxious and I need to suppress or avoid that feeling of anxiety because to feel anxiety is wrong. And maybe that is a signal to you about what is bringing that anxiety to you. What is your anxiety in response to? Is it in response to the environment? Is it in response to what you're feeding yourself? And that could be spiritually, that could be in terms of what the information that you're consuming. It's a way of your body is signaling to you that something could be better, because if you're constantly in a state of discomfort with your emotions, why are you pushing that emotion away? Why not invite that emotion in? Why not dive deeper into what that feels like? As somebody from the UK, it's very much about the stiff upper lip, and it's very much about having these emotions and then being almost overly concerned about how people are responding to those emotions, and then where we feel we can or we cannot have space and or permission almost to express the emotions that we're feeling, to voice the emotions, to respond to somebody when they say, how are you? And genuinely tell them, I'm not doing so great today. And I feel that the more that we can individually find the capacity to explore our emotions, then we are then available to hold the emotions for other people as well when they feel that they need to open up and share. The consequence of suppressing or avoiding our emotion long term just means less of the human experience. If we're trying to numb ourselves and be in the space of almost this padded cell of emotionless being, or this fake joy, and I say fake joy because without feeling what despair is, how do you know in relation to that what true joy means? If you're faced with a challenging situation, if you're faced with a loss, or if something upsets you and you don't allow yourself to go into the emotion, it's almost like putting Botox on your emotions and just freezing them so that things are happening but you're not responding. You become rigid. There's no elasticity, there's no movement, there's no flexibility for you to kind of feel what different situations do to you. How do they fluctuate within your emotional field? Allow these emotions to come out. Allow yourself to feel more and be more. And the more that we try and suppress and hide our feelings, they get so deeply embedded within us, but eventually they're going to express themselves somehow, that they're going to show some way, they're going to grow and pop out, and down the line we'll find that it will rear its ugly head in some level of behavior or some extent of disease. So in this series, what I want to do is talk about the emotions, but also talk about the benefits of embracing those emotions, that there are positive aspects to embracing and understanding our emotions. Emotional awareness can lead to greater self-discovery, and the more that we discover ourselves, the more that we are able to then notice our purpose and feel so connected to ourselves, see how wide and expansive we are. So if you're going through something right now, allow yourself to feel what it is that you're feeling. Let yourself feel what it is. I don't believe that it is possible for your emotions to take you out. I can't think of a better tool to work alongside your emotions than journaling, to be able to record exactly what it is that you're feeling, what's coming up for you. And in all aspects, do you feel elated, angry? Do you feel despondent? Do you feel this is the end of the road? Write it all down, get it all out so that you can start to see what's coming up for you when you're feeling these emotions. Like, free yourself from these thoughts and allow these thoughts to be valid. Allow these thoughts to be true. There's no right or wrong way. You are feeling what you're feeling. So I'll be exploring the spectrum of emotions during the course of this series. And for me, it's a deeper knowing. Emotions are deeper knowing. I want to take it from joy and love to fear and sadness. And I've seen it referenced that emotions are energy in motion. So that energy, that higher energetic resonance, sometimes goes into the darkest, dustiest corners of our experience. And I say it's a gift. The more that we open up to what we're truly feeling, how we are able to feel whatever that looks like, it gives us a greater understanding not only of ourselves, but then also a greater empathetic scope for other people. And imagine the world if everyone feels on that. And then that will then infuse into whatever work it is that you're choosing to do and that you feel called to do as well. So I'm looking forward to sharing more with you over the course of the next few weeks. And as we're going into this, think about your own relationship with your emotions and how do you manage your emotions, and do you feel excited or daunted by the potential of growth that you can experience through exploring and embracing what your emotions mean? Also, I invite you to send to me any questions, share your experiences with me so that I can share with you, so that I can research and build on these future episodes. So you can send me an email at info@carolmaywhittick.com or drop me a line on Instagram. I'm Casmic, Cazmick. To close, from Brian Jacques. Don't be ashamed to weep, 'tis right to grieve. Tears are only water, and flowers, trees, and fruit cannot grow without water. So welcome to the beginning of the new year. This is going to be a good one for sure. And I'm beginning, like I said, by delving deeper into our emotional landscape. And also I want to ask you, do you feel like something is calling you to show up bigger this year? Do you feel a sense of urgency and mission to be a conscious creator in this world and not just simply a consumer? If you know that there is a purpose to your life, then my purpose, I know, is to help you make that happen. And if this message is awakening a curiosity with you and resonating on some level, I invite you to follow the link in the show notes and have a conversation with me, and also join the mailing list so that you can get the accompanying email to this episode. Find me on my website, carolmaywhittick.com, Carolmaywhittick.com. Find me on Instagram as Casmic, Cazmick, and also on Facebook and LinkedIn, Carol May Whittick. Until the next episode, take care.